Hey guys, what's up? So we're gonna drive around Iceland. So yeah. First stop, Seljalandsfoss. It is a massive waterfall. First of many waterfalls. And yeah. We're now behind the waterfall! Woo! Okay, on to the next location. Okay, we're heading to location 2, which is called Reynisfjara. So it's gonna be cool. There's a very cool island over there. And here are the riptides. And very, very cool cave over there that we're gonna explore. It is a really cool cave. A cliff. The rocks are really cool. And then those are the riptides, and they're very dangerous. They will pull you under and you will drown. And out there, way out there, I don't know if you can see it, right about there, is a cargo ship. Look at the rocks. They are so sharp and amazing. Okay, and now we're headed to the 3rd location. Okay, so we made it to the 3rd location. This is the ice lagoon full of glaciers and melted glaciers. And that white glacier right there, the little one, is coming towards us and we're gonna hit it. There it is. First try. First try. Second try. In this boat that was America used in the war, World War, I mean. With all the glaciers. So this is the water with all the glaciers, and we're taking this boat and we're checking all of them out, which is pretty sick.
Alveg frá svörtu og svona fallega blátt, sjáðu.
Sem kemur af henni. Af jöklunum þarna. We have the wild glacier horse.
Question. So, everything you see, all this ice, also this one, everything comes from that glacier over there. You see it. There's a cloud above it, but it's still visible. It has these black waves. And it's floating downwards by gravity. This glacier is called Breiðamerkurjökull. So it took me, thank you. it took me 1 week to learn that word, so but it was worth it. So Breiðamerkurjökull actually is just a part of a bigger glacier called Vatnajökull. And Vatnajökull is the biggest glacier in Europe. It covers 9 to 11% of Iceland. And it sits on this island like a big icy hand. Like a big, huge ice cap, and it's floating downwards by gravity. It has some fingers, like we see over there. That's one of these fingers, and you see them over there. And probably from every side you look at the of this Vatnajökull area, you see some glaciers floating downwards. So they do that because they are like frozen rivers. And Breiðamerkurjökull here, it was actually, when the Vikings arrived here, it was way smaller. It was 20 kilometers far up north, and it just grew in the Little Ice Age. But before I tell you about the Little Ice Age, it's called Breiðamerkurjökull because it's the glacier that brought the trees. When the Vikings arrived, they found a forest. And this is like strange, hard to imagine that this was once covered by trees. And we know that because we found some wood in the glacier. Yeah, and it's like quite interesting, especially for scientists and people who do some research about Earth and what happened and so on. So Vikings had a warmer climate than we have now. And then the Vikings, they also brought some little animals, for example sheep and horses and like everything to settle down and to have a life here. And the negative thing about the animals was actually that they ate the little plants. Oops! So and the trees, that was history. So you saw probably some trees in Iceland because actually there are more trees in Iceland, and the government is putting a lot of energy to reforest the country. So Breiðamerkurjökull here grew during the Little Ice Age a lot, and it covered all this area. It reached until where you parked your car, so over there, where the bridge is now. This is where the edge of the glacier used to be. And then in 1930, after the Industrial Revolution, it started retreating. And it loses ice every year, and it's now 8 kilometers distance up there. So it's quite a way from here to there. And by melting, this lagoon was formed. So we have a connection to the ocean as well, which is special because no other glacier has this, like immediate connection to the ocean. That's the reason why this water here is salty. If you would taste it, not a good idea because it's salty. And it's more salty over there than over here, but the closer the icebergs come towards the ocean, the faster they melt because of the salt. The temperature is also depending on where you are in this lagoon. Closer by the glacier it's about 2 degrees cold, and closer by the ocean it's 5 degrees warm. So depends a little bit. We also have high and low tides in this lagoon, so we always have a look on the movement of the icebergs because it changes with the current. They travel also with the wind. When we have wind from inland, all the ice is over there, and when we have wind from seasides, it's not so good for visitors because then the ice is over there. So yeah, we also have the highest and the lowest point here in Iceland. Volcanoes not included. So the highest point is hiding behind these clouds, but it's called Hvannadalshnjúkur, and it's a quite high mountain, 2,100 meters high, which is like, yeah, it's full of snow. It's part of the Vatnajökull, and there's a big volcano under it. So if that one goes up, we have a huge flood here. And you see some stones lying around there. That can cause by glacier movement because they're constantly digging into the ground and they take a lot of material with them. And if they retreat, they just leave the stones and stuff over there. Or it's caused by a big flood. If we have a volcanic eruption, then a lot of water is melting and then it just rushes down and takes everything. And then we have the lowest point in all Iceland, in this lagoon. And for a lake like this size, it's quite deep. So at the edge of the glacier, it's 300 meters deep. And it's all ice. So all the way down to the ground is ice. That's a lot. And the Vatnajökull actually has an average thickness, is it the word? Yeah, of 200 meters. And at its thickest point is 1 kilometer thick. So that's quite nice. Nevertheless, it's melting. So 300 meters deep, and we have an interesting thing actually, because there's a river floating under the glacier, and that's one of the reasons why it's so deep, because the river constantly pushes the stones away. Then you saw some icebergs there, blue and white and black and so on. So we have diverse colors in this lagoon. I'm gonna explain why. So we have the blue over there. You see it's blue, but it already has some white shine. So that happens when they start to melt. So actually it's good that we have we don't have sunlight today, and that's actually good because then the ice is more blue than when the sun is shining, because it's melting faster, and then they are just white. And if you wash that away, it's still blue underneath. And it does that because it's so dense. if you have a glass of water, then it's just not a lot, or this one, it's just a small piece. But if you have a lot of ice or a lot of water like this lagoon, then it appears blue. So the more dense it is, the more blue it becomes. Just one sentence is for the animals here, like people interested in animals. Due to this connection to the ocean, we have many fish in here. So it looks really calm, but actually it's quite busy down there. Except for mobile phones and cameras, we also have a lot of fish. For example, salmon, trout, herring and krill. And that's the reason why the seals come to hunt here. They have no natural predators, so they can catch fish and show the little ones how to do it. And nobody's threatening them because they don't have any predators. So, just another thing to reconstruct some nature facts in this kind of storage of knowledge over there. We have some bubbles closed in here. They are just frozen, and like ice is forming when a lot of snow gets pressed into ice, and it takes a lot of like weight to do that, and almost all of the oxygen goes out to become ice, out of the snow to become ice. So in here we still have some oxygen in there, and we can analyze it and know how old it is. So question to you. It's difficult. So it's in like human age, it's really old, but for glaciers actually not that old because it's floating really fast. So what do you think? How old is that? How? No, it's not that old. 10,000. Yes. So it's 1,000 years old ice, which is still pretty old. So it's probably the freshest and oldest thing you've ever held. I will pass that around now, and you can take pictures with it if you like. You can also touch the surface. That's an interesting thing. You can find that structure in ice caves as well. It's also, if you look at the water, it's the same structure. It's something that water and wind do together. They form this kind of structure for some reason. So here you go. Okay, I'm gonna climb down again. Thank you. Read that, otherwise you can't sit later. Okay. There was a good question coming, so I forgot to tell you why the ice is black. And I will go there again because it's actually a really interesting fact. We have two reasons for the black ice. One reason is the soil, because the glacier is constantly digging into the ground, and the other reason are volcanic eruptions. So all 10 years we have a volcanic eruption in Iceland, and then it's snowing ash on top of the glacier. So you have a layer of ash, and then you have some winters, so layers of snow, and then again a volcanic eruption. So this is why they sometimes look like zebras. Yeah, okay, sorry guys, here you go.
Okay, so I didn't record it, but we slept at the hotel, and we are now on day 2. So stay tuned for that video.